Hi, folks. You are watching and listening to Sipping Off the Cuff on Tequila Aficionado Media on all of our channels and networks. I'm Mike Morales here in sunny Southern California at almost the beginning of my day. That guy out there is.
Hi everyone, I'm Felipe Tequila and I'm in the UK during the heat wave.
Yeah, we're having one too. It's yeah, it seems to be pretty prevalent through. There's no such thing as global warming, right, guys? So.
No, the sun's just, sunspots, the cycles are coming out and it's just beautiful. We used to have olive groves about 200 miles north from here, where I am.
Wow.
This is like about 1,000 years ago, and 200 years ago, the River Thames used to freeze over. So I don't mind being scolded out in the garden if I'm having a smoke. It's all right.
Yeah, well, yeah. So the glacier's moving, folks. Ladies and gentlemen, today or tonight, depending on where you're watching us, we are actually very blessed to have a Mexican rum. Now, you may have seen Ron Libertad, the añejo version that Felipe and I did, and we were very struck with. This is a special entry, first of all, because we normally don't do other spirits, but this being of Mexican heritage and a long history of being made. This is from the Yucatan, isn't it?
No, it's Chiapas.
Oh, Chiapas. Yeah, that's right. I think they gave us very little information, and all of it's on the label. It's very nice cloth sleeve that it comes in, and very simple, but it gives you a little bit of their I guess it's how they do their processing, and it's ron de caña, which is and you can tell it's actually real cloth because it's coming apart here. It's got the. I'm afraid to pull it because it might just come completely off. But anyway, this is the unaged version, and I was telling Felipe off camera that my last experience with rum was when I was growing up. My folks are from Central America, so when my grandparents would come visit, we were lucky if we got a bottle of Flor de Caña. They're from Nicaragua. And now it's Flor de Caña is a national, international brand. But in those days, it was one of those where even the aged versions, the añejo versions, were so expensive that we were lucky if we got a white rum. And I loved it. When I was finally old enough to taste some, my dad would keep the bottle, forever in the cabinet. And Felipe is he's a little scared. He's not sure what to expect.
I'm apprehensive because I'm very used to dark rums and spiced ones. So I don't think I've had a clear one since probably my pre-Thunderbird days in the pub.
Oh, yeah. Well, this one is at 44 ABV, so that's 88 proof. Traditionally, these rums do come a little bit higher. I can't even remember the old label of a Flor de Caña, what the ABV was on those. I have I can't even remember. But, oh, that was interesting. Yeah, that popped off like for me too.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. That was kind of earthy, wasn't it?
Yeah, that's all right there. So
I'm going to pour mine in a Stasel jarrito that we normally use for mezcal. They're actually for the higher proof liquids, and it's got a wider mouth and a little bit shorter stack. And you're using your handy dandy Glencairn. So I am going to. Again, their processing is. I think we discussed it in the añejo version. The processing is very. Oh, you poured yourself a nice Obama pour in that one. I have a little bit. It's very clear. I mean, it's not.
Yeah.
It's not cloudy or anything.
No, it's got some nice little tears running around on that.
Yeah. It's. I guess we need. I would treat this a little bit like a mezcal, just to keep an eye on it. And the legs and tears are. I don't even know if you can see that. I don't have a napkin. I got a Kleenex, but They're not super clingy, but they have a nice string of pearls.
Oh, so
Wow, that's very deep and earthy.
there's a little bit of citrus in that, so and the sweetness, obviously.
There's a little bit of alcohol in the center, not a lot. Again, ladies and gentlemen, this is a traditional. Uh, they've been making rum and chapas for like forever. I mean, it's got a long history, so we decided to go ahead and let them submit. We have done heirloom corn whiskey from Oaxaca with Sierra Norte, Sierra Norte, which I loved. I love that.
That's making my mouth water. That smells.
Well, isn't that what you said with the añejo?
Probably. I can't honestly remember. I did like that añejo though.
Yeah, I like that it had that layer of complexity, but this is completely different. This is like really gamey, and I can't even say if it's the plant or the earth. When I say gamey, I mean beefy. There's a really different, ordinarily these white rums, like Felipe says, the white rums have very little in the way of aroma. At least the more mainstream ones, but this one's got.
You can smell. I can smell the plant with this. It's very. I remember the añejo could get a lot of. Excuse me. You get something almost like the leaf. It being cane. Definitely smell that. Interesting.
Yeah, remember, I think you mentioned when we were talking about the ending that it smelled like jungle. It smelled like the humidity in the jungle. Like the like rain, like rain on the plants after it rained. And I get that more with this. It smells musty, like um, like a wet plant. And yeah, it's a little bit confusing if you've never had these kind of uh, uh, aromas come at you from an agave spirit. Maybe a little bit with sotol, but not like this.
This is I'm getting, as it's going on, I'm getting more earth and more alcohol too. So
We just popped the seal on these before we came. I've had mine for weeks, and I think Felipe, you've had just for like a couple of weeks.
couple of weeks, yeah.
I even get a little bit of mint or something like down in the center. There's like an herbaceousness, but it's a bright herb. Didn't we say basil?
I don't know, I was trying to think. It's a bit pepperminty.
Yeah. Well, see, that's what I was getting. I was getting a little bit of mint. It's really pleasant.
It's my mouth's watering from it.
It smells savory. It's a
It's like I definitely get fruit. Some fruitness out of it. I'm trying to figure out what.
Well, we've had pechugas and even some not with you specifically, but I have had oh gosh, it's I want to say they're bacanoras that were infused, like celebratory bacanoras with anise and things like that. But so this is it almost has that pechuga, like it's got a layer of something that's been added in during one of the distillations, but obviously it hasn't. It's only like a double distilled.
it's a citrus, but it's like it's not like an orange citrus. It's almost like a lime, almost like a subtle.
Yeah, the alcohol's present now. It's now that it's opening up, and of course I use a much wider mouth. Shall we dive in and just see what we get?
Let us.
All right. Oh my.
Oh,
Holy cow.
there's a dry finish, isn't it?
Yeah. But it's very sweet on the entry.
Mm.
That was my first pass, so I'm gonna give it a couple more passes. There was an explosion on mid palate, and then the finish just long, warm, fuzzy.
It's just gone, isn't it? It's like someone's hit your windscreen with custard.
Yeah.
You know, and then you're like,
oh my God! Now you know why he's one of our tasters. Folks. I love his descriptors. Oh my goodness. Oh wow.
there's a really initial kick of alcohol, isn't there? And it just floats away.
But it's not just the alcohol. There's a flavor with it. It's like it hits you all at once.
See, I'm finding the finish dry. Well, the first time round it was, and now it's just. I've had a couple more. It's more kind of sweet, and it's just settling in now. It's like the mouth's got used to it.
Well, it seems to, it's funny because it looks rather thin, but there's a lot of body. There's a lot of structure, mouthfeel. There's a texture to it. Surprisingly, because it doesn't look like it's going to have, but it does, and it lingers on the palate. I gotta say, it lingers like a pechuga. There's this ongoing. Sometimes like some mezcals will have enough smoke that it'll start to layer the tongue and the palate. That's what this is doing. Wow.
It's really good how that's laying. It's sweet, obviously because it's rum, but also it's got this really kind of like a warm, savoury. It comes up from underneath afterwards.
Wow. The complexity of this rum. I've never tasted anything like this. I can relate to some of it, but as far as rum goes, this is unheard of.
It's got nice the fruity smell that I experienced, I suppose, that I got. I can actually taste it as well. Unlike sometimes, you can get a lot of smell and then you drink it. I mean, when it last time did with that tequila, it smelled one thing and it tasted completely different.
Right.
This you can like, all right, that's what I can taste. It's there. So it's got this nice like lemon limey kind of zing to it. It's not like it tastes of lemon or it tastes of lime, but it has that little sparkle that you get with a fruit like that.
I would say that the character of this rum and the complexity that it has. First of all, I guess what we're saying is the aroma and the flavor profile match. So it's what you see is what you get, and what you smell is what you get. So I'm thinking how one would enjoy this. It's almost a crime to put this in a cocktail, although you could. But right now in the United States, what's popular is the ranch water, which is just tequila and Topo Chico, or some sort of soda. This will stand up to soda. It'll stand up to an ice cube, and not lose the complexity in a Blanco. This is This is one of those blancos that I wouldn't stick in a mojito or anything.
No.
Um, but have on its own, and if you want to lighten a little bit of the zing, because the alcohol does come. It's aggressive on up front. I will say that it's an aggressive rum, but it's aggressive in a good way because it lets you know what it is.
It's like it's like if you hit your kid too hard and you hug it afterwards. I'm sorry.
Hey, we don't advocate that, but
No, but it's like if you it gives you a proper slap on that first, then it goes, oh, come back here. Do you know? And you go, do you know? It's just, I'm impressed with that.
I am too. I did not know what to expect. I mean, we had the añejo, and we knew that there was a layer of wood there. So the funny thing is, the reason we did it in reverse is because Felipe did not have the Blanco, and so we had to wait for Dr. Sowers to get that to you, because I think that's where it's coming from, Dr. Sowers, which Ron Blanco, and the name of the run is Ron Libertad, and it's liberating. It really is, because it's almost like I don't even think that they're using machines to process.
No.
I think they're literally hacking this up like they do with some mezcals. They'll actually beat it to death, with a wooden bat. They slice it up. I think these are hand mashed.
I know it's there's more information, is there, on the actual brand in the añejo. Like, it's just several families, isn't there, gathered together to make it the traditional way and get it out. But this is fantastic.
This is fantastic.
But like you say, if you're going to put a mixer, I'd have a bit of soda in that just to thin it, just so the heat isn't too much every time. But
yeah. But other than that, it stands on its own.
Yeah, I can't think. I wouldn't put a fruit juice with that. I wouldn't put, you could. A Coke would kill it. Be no point. It's just as it is. On a hammock somewhere. So.
Well, it's so savory that it's almost like you already have a cocktail.
Yeah.
It would be a shame, whatever there are so many traditional rum drinks now. Some, especially in the tiki culture, in the tiki environment, the Latin environment, obviously. But I wouldn't do anything with this. I would hate to do anything with this. This has the character of some really great mezcals that you and I have had, the sotols, where if you put it, I mean, you probably could, and it would stand up. As opposed to some of the mainstream Blanco rums that are out there now that just they're like vodka. They'll just get lost. But this one,
do you have there's a, I think in England we call them sweets, like candy. There's one called like Starburst or something. It's little fruit chews.
Yeah.
It reminds me of that, but without any discernible fruit flavor. It's like that. It gets that kind of bit in your jaw going, and you've had it. It's like, oh, I could have, and you don't want to do a whole packet.
Yeah.
You shouldn't, but like
you did just one or two.
But like it's just standalone. Like I wouldn't know what to put this in.
No, I don't either. And here's one other thing for you. I don't think you could pair it with like a cigar or pipe tobacco. I don't think you could. You might be able, for those of you who are cocktail mixologists or cocktail enthusiasts, you could probably smoke it, put it under a layer of smoke somewhere, and give it a little bit more of a mezcal kind of a vibe. But it's not necessary. I should have poured myself more because these glasses don't require a lot. But this.
Oh, these do.
Well, yeah, because that's a Glencairn. But here's the thing. The rum itself really merits a lot of time to dissect. It's not one of those you want to shoot. It's not one of those that you want to put in a cocktail. You must treat it like a good mezcal, like a good agave spirit.
It's one to take some time over, isn't it? If you've got
Yeah.
a spare half hour or so, just.
Ron Libertad. I mean, we spent 10, 15 minutes just on the nose. And if we spend that much on the nose, then you know that the taste and the flavor profile requires that much. Especially if you've never had it before. My only bar was from years and years ago. And in Central America, obviously, it's a little bit different from, country to country, because I've had rums from Venezuela. I've had Los Abuelos, which I really love, but most of those are añejos. I've had Centenario from Costa Rica, which is like colored water for me. I've had some really great Flor de Cañas, a 7-year-old, 12-year-old, 15-year-old, 20-some-odd-year-old. I don't even know how long they're aging it. 25, I think they're aging it now. Obviously, the aged versions are much more popular. But we would, like I said, the aged versions for us when we were growing up were very expensive, and so my grandparents would be lucky. We'd be lucky if we got a bottle of Blanco, and I remember them being sweeter, at least the Flor de Caña. But this one, I've never. My only bars to these are sotols and mezcals and pechugas, and that's what this is. This is beautiful.
This is like a sunset drink. You just sit there and just completely chill out and take it. It's not a party drink. You just sit there and it's a contemplation one.
Oh my God. That plant earthiness, that combination of la selva, which is what the jungle is, it's like you're in a rainforest. That's it. And I've been in a rainforest. I've actually, when I took we took a trip to Costa Rica. Costa Rica is the only country in the world where there are two types of forests that come together. And we took a tour through that, and they have a plethora, a myriad of birds that migrate back and forth in that section of jungle. You have cloud forest, and you have, I think, I don't even know what to call it. If you're a birder, if you're a bird watcher, we had in this tour we had a gentleman who was a retired doctor from Canada who was a birder, and his goal was to see 100 different birds that he had never been able to catalog, and he surpassed that on that trip to Costa Rica. And they have beautiful. I mean, it's beautiful. If you've ever been, you need to go, because it's one of those countries that's actually very environmentally friendly, and they know how to maintain their environment, and that's what they stand for. And that's what this smells like. It smells like the jungle. It smells like humidity and wetness and rain, cloud forest. That's what this is. This is cloud forest. That heaviness, that aroma is. I can get used to this, man. Wow.
At first, with the initial hit, I was like, oh, hold on a second, but I was sold within about 5 seconds.
Yeah. He was, and literally off camera, he said, I'm dubious. I don't know. These Blanco rums are not for me.
That's true.
And my bar personally has been, years ago, before Flor de Caña was bought and made mainstream, and it is what it is now today.
I think the last white rum I drank was one of those 101s from the Dominican Republic. Like
I've never had
the ones that takes the enamel off your teeth.
Oh,
keep it in your mouth.
Okay, the paint thinner.
Yeah, like you've got to buy it, because if you're brought over here, you're going to drink it.
Ladies and gentlemen, this is Ron Libertad. If you folks are in the UK or in Europe or Germany, wherever the importer, I believe, is Dr. Sowers. They're the ones that made this happen. take a look, okay? This is a gem. Follow them on their Instagram. They do a lot of social media right now through Instagram. And they are from Chiapas. If you're anywhere in Cancun, resort towns, I think you can find this there in the resort towns. Do yourself a favor, besides the tequila and maybe a mezcal or two, pick yourself up one of these, okay? You won't regret it, and it's not your main. Captain Morgan wouldn't know what to do with this, okay? I don't, I know Felipe talked to me about Havana Club, and you've had the Cuban Havana Club, because there are two versions, folks, and there are two schools of Havana Club, okay? And I'm not even going to go into that, but one of them is Cuban, and the other one is not Cuban.
Oh, the Cuban one's really available over. You just pull it off. You go to a convenience store in the middle of nowhere, they'll have Havana Club. The Cuban.
Here it's very expensive. It's more expensive, and there's a constant fight about who owns a trademark of Havana Club. And one is traditionally Cuban, and the other one is not. So, but
are you referring to the Bacardi law of '98?
Yeah,
Helm's law.
Yeah. Probably, and the other one is the Cuban law. But anyway,
that's a whole other show.
That's a whole other show, and we don't do rum. And really, to be fair, we don't do this. But they asked to submit because it is a traditional Mexican rum from Chiapas, and I've had coffee from Chiapas. I mentioned this on the Añejo version. The coffee from Chiapas is very earthy, very different from what you get in Colombia, or even Nicaragua for that matter, or Costa Rica, which is some really good coffee as well. This is outstanding. I'm speechless. I mean, we've gone almost a half hour on this, and it requires that, folks. Thanks for sticking it out with us. I do appreciate it. But do we have any closing comments on this?
Yeah, I think this would go with some dark chocolate.
Cacao from Chiapas.
Get like 80 or 90%.
They do make chocolate from Chiapas as well, and coffee. This might be a really good coffee chaser. Like a café con ron. And not mixed together, not piquete. I'm talking about a good Chiapas coffee with this on the side, kind of like a tequila and sangrita.
Yeah, no smoke, no cigars, no pipes.
Nah, can't do it. It's really savory. It's got good mouth structure. It's deceiving because it doesn't look like that. It doesn't have the thick legs and tears. No. But I tell you what, it's got a flavor that just hangs in there.
See that straight into the bottle. See, now I'm going to have to go and open up the Añejo. I have to compare it now. Yeah, well, good. Like it. Well done.
Excellent. Again. Ladies and gentlemen, Brand of Promise nominee in the special category, the special submission category. This is Ron Libertad. We want to thank our friends at Dr. Sour for making this happen. I so appreciate it. Get yourself one of these. Look it up. Find it. You will not be sorry. Okay? And like I say, if you folks are vacationing anywhere in the Yucatan or in Chiapas, if you're in Cancun, pick one of these up. You're not going to regret it. It's that good, okay? You've been watching and listening to Sipping Off the Cuff on Tequila Aficionado Media on all of our channels and networks. First of all, I want to thank you folks for subscribing, for hitting the notification bell. Give us a like. Thanks for sticking it out for us this long. If you've been watching this long, it's because it really, really merited it. And for those of you guys who are tequila heads or mezcal heads who are watching us, this is the next hottest thing, okay? I gotta tell you, you're gonna hear about this. You're gonna hear about it. You heard it here first, okay? Thank you for signing up. Follow us on Instagram. Follow Felipe on his social media. And whatever you do, tomar sabiamente.
Sip wisely, my friends.